How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You see what I did there? Welcome back to the... Anyway, today I'll be reviewing the Dark Knight Returns Dark Knight Triumphant Batman figure. I know I said I probably wasn't gonna review this one, but yet here it is on the review bench. You know me, Captain Indecisive. I saw it online and had to have it. Anywho, as you can see, the box for this guy is pretty fantastic as always with Mafex and their action figures, some of the finest in the industry. Here's what the top of the box looks like, Dark Knight Returns. Here's what the right hand side of the box looks like. We got a battered up old man Bats without the cowl on. While on the other, we have an image of Batman in action, probably taking it to the mutant leader. And on the back, we have some fantastic photography, an image of Batman like, how did I almost get my ass kicked so bad? And then another image of Batman down there practicing his karate kicks, and then up there we just have an all-around angry, perturbed looking Batman, as well as an image down here showing the heads and the accessories. Alright, it's yoinking time. Yoink. Hey, cool, the inside of the box has some artwork, the same artwork that the figure is actually based off of. Full disclosure, I actually ordered the Mezco 1/12 Collective Mutant Leader because I wanted to have both of them in the same video, but he's coming from Australia, so he'll still be a few days. But I'll make sure I put this Batman in the video with the Mutant Leader. Oh, and don't worry, I'm going to be super extra careful with this Batman. You all saw what happened with that Aquaman video, right? I mean, that was a disaster. I wasn't even reefing on the figure and it snapped at the waist joint. To be fair, that is my first Mafex figure that's ever had a structural issue, so honestly, I'm not counting on that from this Batman figure. Jeez, he's got a bag coming out of his crotch. Nice bag, Batman. Alright, let me get this all set up party-like and I'll be back in a second. Okay, and we are back, and we are out. So the package came with 4 sets of extra hands. 5 if you count the hands that came on the body. All of Batman's right hands, pictured to your left, have the knuckles torn off. And all the hands on Batman's left hand, to his right, have the knuckles still intact. He also comes with this here cowl that's intended to hang over his shoulders like he's taken his mask off. And then we've got this here secondary head sculpt, the unmasked Bruce Wayne head. It's sculpted and painted really well, and I'm telling you, by the look of this and the swollen shut eye, I'm not sure if Batman's ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, but it certainly looks like he almost saw God that day. Jeez. Even though in the end, Batman beat me, I sure gave him a run for his money, didn't I? Also, I have no nipples. He also comes with that there figure stand. What can I say? It's your typical Mafex standard fare figure stand. Of which the only thing I don't like about these is the fact that the hoop is just this round hoop. And it doesn't really hold the figure that well. Oh, and he also comes with 4 little batarangs, which I almost missed. Those little fellas were just in the package, totally blending in. Now the figure itself is nothing less than a work of art. Just like the previous Batman figure, it is super fantastically sculpted. You really look at this and feel like it's jumped out of the comic. But there's also a more detailed aesthetic to it as well, running the whole way through the figure. And again, this Batman's face sculpt, well, he looks like he was having a really rough day that day. Like, things really could have gone better for him. I mean, technically he'd won, so, I mean, I guess they could have gone worse. But let's face it, that Batman got his face beat in. I mean, he won, but just barely. And this figure really shows it, too. And then you've got the tears up the front of his bat emblem there in his suit, along with the shredding of the shoulder, and also the other one. And we've already mentioned the knuckles, too. They're shredded out as well. I mean, this Batman, he really got his ass handed to him there for a while. And this figure does a really great job of physically, 3-dimensionally illustrating that. And it's got a really cool black wash over it as well. What's he got underneath his cape? Yep, there he is from behind. Look at that. Look at those back muscles. He could crush beer cans between those things. And Batman's utility belt looks fantastic. I love the wash they've given this utility belt as well. And it's just so cool that you can see the textures of the fabric in this suit. It really looks like he's just wearing you know, a fabric kind of tight-fitting costume. As you can see, this Batman does indeed have a wired cape, as really is Mafex's custom. This is what they do. Mafex does the wired capes, and they're all around the outside, but it is very cool that, again, just like the previous Batman, you have the pleating all through the cape to give it that folded bat cape look. I think that as far as the design of a cape that's got wires in it by any company, this is probably my favorite. I will say, though, the only thing I don't like about how Mafex does these capes, at least for the Dark Knight Batman, is the fact that you've got the plastic neck piece that looks like a cape just going over his shoulders, but then the cape itself sticks out from there. I've just always thought that's a strange visual. When everything is tucked over his shoulders, it certainly looks a lot better. But as soon as you have the cape hanging down, it definitely looks a little weird. For the most part, when you're posing him around, you're just not going to notice that. The cape is going to be, you know, fluid just like the figure, and it's just not going to be a noticeable thing that much. Okay, now that I'm looking at it, I notice it. But in general, I mean, I don't think of it at all when I'm posing around this Batman figure. So I figure the same thing will happen with this one. I'm not going to be posing him with the cape hanging down like that, just over his shoulders. So for me, this is not a big deal. For some of you, this might drive you absolutely bonkers. But for me, I'm okay with it. I can just tuck it around and make it look, you know, natural, like that. Now, compared to the original release of Mafex's Dark Knight Batman, the black and gray version, this one has certainly a more intricate paint job, and also, in my opinion, a more comic accurate head sculpt. It's more gritty looking. It looks more like the original artwork. Oh, and before you ask, yes, I did do a cape swap. This is a Mezco 1/12 Collective cape. I just like the leathery look. I felt like it looked better, you know, on the body compared to the previous one. And that cape is now on this Batman figure, so it went to good use. And then here I've got him wedged in between the Mattel Dark Knight Returns Superman and Wonder Woman. No, the accessories didn't come with Wonder Woman. Those are different. And yes, I did swap out Superman's head and fists. Oh, and look at this. I got Superman's logo on the back of this cape. If you buy the 2-pack version where they're both just black silhouettes, that one comes with a cape with an S logo on the back. And then here we have in between two more Dark Knight Returns characters, the Mattel Joker and No Nipples Mutant Leader. And then how about the Flash and Carrie Kelly Robin? These two scale great together. And finally, the Armored Batman. Well, now that space is open, I gotta put something in there. Okay, here. That's a custom Batman. Here, let's yoink him out and bring in another custom Batman just for funsies. Yep, that's the size comparisons. Now, as for the articulation, Batman's got an articulation point in the bottom of the neck and inside the head, which accounts for a fairly good range of motion when both points are used. I will be honest and tell you that this is the state that mine showed up in, which is a natural pose, but as soon as you move his head back, you'll notice that automatically there was some scuffing of the plastic against the cape. I'm not sure if it came that way or if I just did that. I'm betting that it was me that did that, so just be aware that that could be a thing that happens, some paint rub. You've got shoulders that have a butterfly, and there's a lot of oh my goodness, there's a lot of rotation. That is spectacular. And a rounded hinge, and a full 360 bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, the rounded hinges in the wrist here. For the torso, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is a ball joint in there, and it has a fantastic range of motion. As well as the waist here, you've got another ball joint, and, you know, I mean, what do you expect ball joint to do but to have a ball? That was stupid. I gotta stop making jokes in these videos. And then you've got the groin area, which is two ball joints that also have a drop hinge as well. And of course, you've got rotation right there at the ball joint. You've got a double jointed knees on both legs. You've got the rounded ball joint right there. And you've got toe articulation. So far, at this point of the review, I can say that he is fantastic looking and extremely posable. Now, I suppose at this point, the final question that needs to be asked is, what do I think about this Batman figure? Do I feel like it was a useful use of my action figure budget for the month to pick this guy up? One that I hadn't originally planned on buying, or not? Well, to be honest, I'm a lot more impressed with this guy than I thought I was going to be, and I didn't have the same issue that I had with Aquaman with any breakage, and to be honest, I wasn't really expecting it on account of the fact that my Mafex figures don't usually snap. That was the first time that's happened. Now, even though this wouldn't be my, if I had to pick one Batman to go into a desert island, which one would it be? This one definitely would not be it. This one would be staying in my basement during the zombie apocalypse while I hid out on an island with a completely different Batman. I don't know which one it would be, but it wouldn't be this one. But I will say that this is probably one of my most interesting, most eye-catching looking Batmans. And when I get the mutant leader from Mezco, this is going to make a fantastic action diorama on my shelf. To me, it's almost as iconic as Superman versus Doomsday, or Bane breaking Batman's back. The defeat of the mutant leader by Batman was a huge part of the story, and that story was a huge part in revitalizing Batman and bringing him back to the forefront for an entire generation. This is the Batman that said, "I'm here and I'm serious, and I am going to kick your ass." So to have a figure based off that specific iconic moment in the story, to me is just an awesome idea. Anyway, those are my final thoughts and opinions on this figure. If you have the chance to pick him up for a reasonable price, then I would say, yeah, go for it. But yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully you found this video to be a useful, interesting, insightful waste of time for the afternoon or morning, or whenever you watched it, and I will see you with the next one. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.